Hello, everyone. Good morning. This is James Jesso. It might not be the morning for you, but it is the morning for me, which is why this sound is like a borderline ASMR thing here. Also, my coffee hasn't kicked in, but focusing. There are three really important announcements or updates I want to let you know about that may affect the future of the channel. The three are possible delisting from iTunes, issues with YouTube, and also having just recently picked up a new sponsor. So the iTunes listing is something similar to what is sort of happening with YouTube. It's slightly different. I got a notification from a mutual psychedelic podcaster and letting me know that they had been delisted from YouTube and delisted from iTunes, and they're not the only one. Simply because the topic of the podcast is about drugs that are illegal in most places around the world, and so it technically violates their terms of service. Or they could choose to say that it technically violates terms of service, and iTunes is notorious for doing things and then not letting people know why. So far, I have pretty much not had an issue with any of this kind of stuff. I'll talk a little bit about YouTube in a minute. There's some stuff there. But for the most part, I've seemed to be well received and no issues with the show at all on iTunes, but that could change at any moment. So I am hosted on Libsyn, which means I go out across a variety of podcasting sort of avenues, including Stitcher and Spotify, if you use Spotify. But it is possible at some point in the future you might log in and I won't be there, or it'll seem like the episodes aren't updating at all. This might be because I've become delisted from iTunes. If that happens, I will be available in other places as well, but you might not know. I might not even know, so let me know if it turns out my podcast disappears from iTunes. And the best way to make sure that you don't end up just wondering why I disappeared and this delisting from iTunes, which amounts to some sort of censorship against information about drugs, could result in you no longer getting to listen to the podcast and like the slow deconstruction of the podcast existing at all. So yeah, please head to my website. I'm going to put a link in the description to this one and sign up for my newsletter, because that's going to be the best way for me to notify you if something has gone wrong with iTunes, so that you can find another way to listen to the show. Again, that's going to be in the description to this video / audio update. Okay, so the second one is YouTube. So there's a couple things with YouTube that, if you don't know about the whole YouTube world, it's very complicated as a creator there. And the three issues that I'll speak to here are basically community guideline strikes, the secret rating system, and demonetization due to keywords. So the community guideline strikes, if you get 3, then your channel is deleted. I've never gotten 1. I know some other drug-ish YouTubers have gotten community guideline strikes and end up going through a whole lot of like havoc around it. So thankfully I haven't gotten any, but given that my content is about psychedelics, it's not unreasonable that at some point they might get some strikes against me for violating terms of the community use or whatever, although highly unlikely in that sense, but that's just a thing to consider. The other two, the secret rating system, so YouTube doesn't announce this, but they have a secret rating system where they determine what is the rating of your content. Is it like for children? Is it for everybody? Is it sort of like more for people over 18? This is different than age restricted. And because my content is drug related, almost definitely I can't tell what the situation is, but almost definitely my shows get rated M. And so because of that, they are highly limited in their scope. And also because of the third thing, which is the demonetization, keywords that also limit visibility of the episodes, visibility of the videos across YouTube. They end up just getting limited. Subscribers don't get notified. I don't show up in people's feeds. Essentially, the podcast isn't growing organically because the algorithms are working against it from what would be organic popularity, emerging it into different people's feeds. So that point to consider is, if you're liking the show, sharing it really does make a big difference, especially with YouTube videos, because due to the content, especially on YouTube, and it's just not going to naturally let the algorithms around likes and comments be the thing that puts it into the next sphere of other people. So that's the second point, which is that sharing is very important. The third one is about my new sponsor, the Formula Nootropics company, the findmyformula.com. The thing about getting a sponsor, I've been back and forth about for a while. The most important part of having any type of sponsorship deal is that I retain full creative control over all of my episodes, which is absolutely the case, and that the sponsorship and the financial relationship between me and that sponsor does not at any point influence why or how I would create what I'm creating for you, the people enjoying it. And I feel like I'm in integrity with that at this point. And that if at any point I feel like that starts to slip, then I'll have to reassess whether or not sponsorship is a good idea. So currently, I feel excited about it. I hope you feel excited about it as well. Finding different ways to help finance the podcast is really important because everything costs money. And so ultimately my primary income around the podcast is now and continues to be, and hopefully will continue to be, Patreon. So I want to consider myself, and I want to continue to be a podcast. Oh my God, I'm going to say this: by the people, for the people. A podcast, it's more about community and patronage and working together and helping to contribute to culture. And I want to be mindful that I don't commercialize the show. That's not what I'm interested in. And I imagine that's not what you're interested in either. So those are the three announcements. So please head over to the link in the description to this and sign up for my newsletter so that if I do get delisted from iTunes, that you can still get notified as to where else you can find the show, or be notified that it happened at all. Due to the content of my shows, they won't be shared by the algorithms with YouTube. So please make an extra effort to share them yourself if you can, if that's cool for you. And also, happy to have a new sponsor, and I look forward to it not negatively influencing your podcast listening experience at all. Yeah. Early mornings might not be the best time to shoot videos, but I think I did all right. Thanks for watching. Bye.